Then God said, "Let there be light," and there was light. And God saw that the light was good. And God separated the light from the darkness. God called the light day, and the darkness He called night. And there was evening, and there was morning, the first day.
Let there be light. I've always read this story of creation from the perspective of seeing with God's eyes, or from the perspective of it was all good. But after I have experienced trauma, I have looked with different eyes. I have looked from the perspective of whatever was there when God began creating. Because our creation story tells us that something was there. Some chaos, some form, something. But certainly the darkness was there. And I started to wonder what it must have felt like to the darkness. I started to wonder about that moment when there was light. I think we tend to think of that moment as if there were just a small candle breaking through the darkness. But that doesn't seem like God. It seems like the God of all creation would make there be light. And it seems like to the darkness, it wouldn't feel like a candle. It seems like to the darkness, it would feel like this. To the darkness, it must have hurt. To the darkness, it was a pushing back. To the darkness, it was a taking away. When I was young, my family went on a camping trip and we were in the darkness, and my father decided to teach us about night vision. And so he would tell us, don't look at the light. Let your eyes adjust to the darkness. And then a car would drive by and the light would hit our eyes and it would hurt. And for a moment we couldn't see anything. For a moment it was painful. For a moment we wished to be back in the darkness. Sometimes we talk about light as the presence of God. Sometimes we talk about light as knowledge, as being able to see, but meaning that you now understand. And we tend to, in our very optimistic world, think of knowledge as always good. And yet, just a few verses away in this same holy text, we will see that there is knowledge of good and knowledge of evil, and that is painful. That involves loss. That involves change. That they couldn't have possibly known what it meant. People who experience trauma, people who experience loss so often do not know what that is like until they are going through it. And it's not something they asked for. It's not something they wanted. That darkness, that not knowing, was so much better. That darkness, that not seeing, that not understanding, that not knowing loss or not knowing evil or not knowing pain, not knowing hurt was so much better. In my own journey with trauma, In my own life journey, most of the things that I have been through have taught me much. And I have learned. And most of the time, I feel like I'm a better person for it. But there are some things, some darknesses that we don't want to see. And sometimes in those moments of loss, sometimes in that moment of trauma, all we want is to not see. All we want is to be in the darkness. And then it feels like we cry out to God and ask to be put back in that space. And ask why God brought this light into our lives to begin with. And I know when I am at my best, my theology is sound. My theology holds that God does not do evil, that God does not bring pain, that is a reality of living in a broken world. It's why the creation in the beginning is good. Because there is not evil yet. And that's a very clean theology. And most days I lean on that with strength. And I use it to help me work for the good that God calls me to. But when I am hurt, when I know pain, when I have been injured, when someone has taken something from me, then that theology goes out the window. That theology does not hold for me because all I want in that moment is for God to take it away, to make it different, to put me back in the darkness. It's a knowledge I don't want. I don't want this knowledge of good and evil. I didn't know the fruit I was taking of. Take it back. God, take it away. Don't bring this light into my world. God, I don't want this light. Bring me to the darkness. God, I don't want this light. Bring me to the darkness. God, I don't want this light. I want the darkness. all the people who have seen too much, for all the people who have learned too much, for all the people who have been through too much. Lord, in your mercy,